Hello, my name is Gary Millett. I'm going to be a professor for ELE-110, Electronics for Technicians 1, for the fall 2022 semester. This is the first course of a two-course sequence for students in the optics and photonics department. And what we're going to do is try to give you a background in electronics that'll allow you to deal with the electronics that are associated with laser and optics systems. So what I'm going to do in this little presentation is to talk to you about the content of the course. It's online, and everything is on the Blackboard website that you need for the course. This will be a video that you should watch during the first week. So we're going to start off with an introduction to the course and the topic of electronics technology. We'll take a look at where electronics is used. There's basically four major areas, and we'll cover those: computers, communications, controls, and so forth. Then we'll take a look at an overview of the Cengage MindTap resources. What you need to do for this course is to take and get Cengage Unlimited, which will give you access to the two textbooks that we're going to use in the course for a total of 12 months. So we'll cover the two-course sequence. We're going to start off in week number 2 by looking at electrical safety and scientific and engineering notation. Engineering notation is that idea of megahertz, gigawatts, nanoseconds, picoseconds, and so forth. And that's the language of electronics, so we need to get a handle on that. After we've gone through that basic stuff in the third week of the course, we'll look at basic electrical concepts and circuit theory. That is basic circuit theory. Then we continue on with that in week number 4, where we take a look more at basic electrical theory. We'll take a look at Ohm's law, and we'll also take a look at circuit simulation with what's called Tinkercad, which is a software program that will take and simulate circuits. It's from Autodesk, and it's free. With a lot of the basics out of the way, we'll turn our attention to one form of circuit, series circuits. We'll take a look at the rules of circuits, series circuit operation, and how do you analyze those circuits with a lot of different examples. Once we're done with that, we move on to week 6. We'll take a look at parallel circuits. And parallel circuits, again, are a different animal, and we'll take a look at the laws of how that circuit works and how to make calculations about the operation of parallel circuits. After we're done with both series and parallel circuits, we take a look at combination circuits, which are combinations of series and parallel circuits, and look at how we can analyze those circuits. That moves us on to week number 8, where we'll take a look at power and energy. We'll take a look at electronic meters. Presently today, we have DVMs, digital voltmeters, or DMMs, digital multimeters. We'll also take a look at some practical aspects of wire size and batteries, which are basic power sources of DC. So after the first 8 weeks, we basically have covered DC. Then in week 9, we'll introduce signals and systems, which basically now looks at alternating current and the signals that are used for electronic systems to either communicate or control things. After week 9, we'll go into week 10, looking at frequency selective devices. Now, it turns out there's 3 basic devices that we'll talk about this semester: resistors, capacitors, and inductors. Resistors characteristics do not change with frequency. However, things called capacitors and inductors, capacitors are devices that use electric fields, where inductors are devices that use magnetic fields, both to store energy. It turns out those devices are both frequency selective. That is, their characteristics change with the frequency of operation. So we'll take a look at that in week number 10. Week number 11, we consider circuits that consist of those 3 components I just mentioned: R's, L's, and C's, and how they interact together. And we'll take a look at the idea that we can actually create filters, which are frequency selective circuits, and we'll also talk about the concept of resonance. It's a circuit parameter that we use all the time to, say, tune our radios to particular stations. Once we're done with week 11 and week 12, we'll talk about switches, relays, and transformers. Again, components that are useful in electronics. And then we really shift gears by weeks 13, 14, and 15, taking a look at active devices. Now, we're not going to go wild with that. We're just going to introduce them to you. So the first active devices we introduce are diodes and LEDs, and then transistors. Week number 14, we'll actually take a look at diode applications, and in week number 15, we'll take a look at transistor applications. So what we'll attempt to do in this course is to give you the knowledge necessary to deal with, again, the power supplies and controls that are used to develop electronic systems, and in particular, laser systems, since that is the basic thing we want to talk about for optics and photonics students. So it should be a fun course. The second course will continue on with the active devices and also microcontrollers, and you'll have a lot of fun with that one also. There's a lab associated with this course to give you a lot of hands-on work, basically with how to make measurements. And you work with digital multimeters and power supplies, and also use oscilloscopes to take a look at AC signals. So again, it should be a fun course. So that's it for now, and enjoy the course.